Call the meeting to order at 9:36. Roll call members, looks like we're all here. And public comment. No discussion or comments will be entertained unless requested upon by the chairperson of the board or committee. Speaking time is 3 minutes. For each person, member of public must state their name and address or precinct.
I move we approve the minutes from last time.
Okay.
As amended? As amended.
As amended, yeah.
I'll second.
And
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
yeah, aye. So we open public comment. Now we're on to new business, excise weeks.
Is there any comments from the public at this time?
No, thank you. I'm going to listen in and maybe at the end comment. Thanks, though.
You will have that opportunity.
That's great. Okay, thanks. Okay, so new business, excise weeks.
We need to close
I was
public
going to
comment
say,
now.
should we close public comments?
We don't want to.
Yes.
I move we close public comment now.
Right.
I'll second. Aye. All in favor? Aye.
Not sure why we do it, but
Thanks for keeping us on track.
yeah, okay. Excise weeks.
Actually, that's another thing that unfortunately wasn't able to happen, but one of the assistant clerk was going to come to one of our meetings.
Oh, yeah.
And advise us on open meeting law and stuff. And I think that she did talk to you about it. Or, a while back. No? Okay, well, and so what she was going to do.
So it's gone.
Yeah, okay. Well, at one point, I think she mentioned that she had talked to you a little bit. But what she suggested is that she would make an appointment to talk to you as the chairman of the board.
Good.
You're the one who's more responsible for that because, with election season, they've just been unfortunately too busy to attend. Yeah. But I'm going to do that then. I'm going to reach out to her and CC you so that you guys can coordinate the time. We can get more up to speed.
It's not Kathy. Kathy is
No, not Kathy, but Quinn.
Quinn. Okay.
Yeah, Quinn.
Yeah, I don't know Quinn. I don't know. Yes, I think I did.
Quinn did talk to me about this stuff a long time ago.
Yeah, and that's what right. That's been August before September, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like in August or something.
Okay, well, on to new business, excise weeks. We have. They're on the bottom.
You.
And we have abatements to the tune of $1,597.15. And today is what? 15. Over. Okay. So that's it for assessor's webpage updates and proposed revisions.
Maybe can we table that unless Matt comes in?
Okay. So we'll table that until Matt gets here. Is he going to be here this morning?
Matt is here. I don't know if he's planning on attending. We can ask him.
Okay.
Would you like me to go grab him?
Or just let him know to come in when he gets a chance.
Sure.
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, Ways and Means meeting, split tax rate, residential exemptions. Is there anything to discuss there? Because that's the first question.
I think really we're good with that.
Yeah.
It's another meeting coming up on the 15th, I noticed for them, but we weren't.
And
We're not invited. They don't need us.
Yeah, I don't think that they were looking for us to participate or be part of it.
Matt,
How are we?
do
No
you
computer?
feel a little lightheaded?
Yeah.
computer, Matt?
Did you have to wear sunglasses around town? I just have quick updates because I was gonna talk a bit about the thing I worked on with Jim last week. The video.
Oh, sure, okay.
So is this?
Yeah, so we were talking about the webpage updates and the proposed revision.
Yes, so I got the materials from Devin and Jonathan last week that I needed to fill things out. So this week we'll be executing that.
Okay,
And then last week, Jim and I worked on a video, kind of a informational thing about assessing, about the work of the Board of Assessors, about many of the new initiatives that will take place on the website, about the upcoming GCC forum. So we hit a good parameter of topics. I believe I sent you the draft, Randy. So
Yes.
if you have any time to view that, let me know, and then we can get that published. And then it will circulate on GCTV along with going to their webpage. So it'll be on like 3-4 times a day for people to see and stuff. So
great.
I want to say Jim did an excellent job. He was very informative.
He wanted to say, but
He was very informative, very poised. And I know, you know, the work of the assessors department is very nuanced and complicated. And I think he did a great job of breaking down some of those barriers and putting them in terms that I can understand. So I just want to thank you, Jim, and give the board, you know, it's flowers for really expanding and growing and doing a lot of exciting things. And I'm happy to help participate in that. So hopefully next meeting, I'll have a final draft to present for everyone and we can just go over any small changes.
all right, that would be great.
Sounds good?
Yeah, in terms of the website you're
Yes.
talking about.
Yes.
That's good, okay.
Perfect. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, so we're through Ways and Means. We don't need, and we can probably take that off the agenda in the future.
I mean, we might still have more information to give them as part of the classification process.
Yeah, but that's.
Let's keep it on until
Yeah.
classification is done.
Okay, but then the topic is more.
Because part of it is
Classification. huh?
getting back to them with new growth and
Yeah.
more information, because we'll have to meet with them again.
Yeah.
When we are close to setting the tax rate, to talk to them again about what our recommendations are going to be and give them more information about, okay, here's where our values are, and this is what we were able to capture. And so on.
But at that time.
And that this is what the prospective tax rates could be, that we choose single, and then provide them with some options about, you know, potential split. Will be, you know, starting to work on our presentation, the PowerPoint presentation, and updating it for this year's content.
Okay.
And also some other, you know, a different approach to what we're gonna show the council this year in that.
Okay.
I think a little bit more information about the tax levy and ceiling and so on is going to be appropriate. And I had just in my mind had thought of a few different communities, or I was thinking, because they mentioned it last year, I think we did a little bit comparing ourselves to other communities that are close by.
I mean, physically close by.
Close like Deerfield, yeah, Irving, and
Sure. Yeah, the problem is though, you know, we can compare ourselves to the communities, but in terms of demographic size, income and things like that,
It's not comparable.
they're not terribly comparable.
yeah, so well,
I mean, we can show it as
you know,
a reference point, of course.
what do we want to use then?
Well,
Because that's what, this was part of the conversation last year. I don't think you're here.
oh, I did see it last year.
Yeah, okay. And so we're like, okay, well, what are we going to use? You know, and the previous year, what I had done is just in each of the individual categories, like our residential, the total of our residential value was comparable to what happens. That way.
Right,
And I did like the 4 above and 4 below.
right.
And then we did have some like Great Barrington, I noticed came up a couple times. And so it was comparable in more than one aspect.
Right.
But, you know, we can choose how we're going to compare, you know, comparable levy wise. I've done that before. Okay. And that was part of when I was in East Hampton, and Greenfield had a comparable levy, and was part of why I used them in my, my classification presentation in East Hampton. And that's what I was using as a dynamic to choose what,
Yes.
So that makes total sense to me. It may also be useful to compare to the neighboring communities just to show that they're not comparable.
Yeah.
Because just in case people are like, hey, well, Deerfield's doing X. And, you know, and we could say, well, Deerfield's doing X, but they also have Yankee Candle and, you know, all this other stuff. So they're not comparable at all.
well, and so, are we at update of the office yet?
Oh, we could,
No.
maybe should we
Yeah,
get to that when we get there?
Yeah, let's,
Yeah.
yeah, we can, yeah, and then
but the item,
subjects will come up.
but the item is no longer split tax rate residential exemption.
It's preparing for the classification.
Yeah, really,
Classification.
yeah, I guess we could leave it on there, but update instead of, update it to preparing for classification
Yeah, okay.
hearing.
Okay, now on to old business calendar timeline. It's right here. July, August, September, October,
Great.
October, okay. Did you wanna,
Yeah, I've got a copy here too.
go ahead?
Yeah, so
Over now?
we're in October. I read through it last time. I can do it again. Like to, so by the 15th, we want interim year adjustment communities. For interim year adjustment communities, we want DLS recommended date to submit the LA 13. We've done that.
Yep, we have done it.
15th.
Yeah, today's the 15th.
Okay,
LA 13th is new growth.
Mhm.
And so we're within striking distance of that.
how's it looking?
Well, we just got a bunch of information from, well, let's see, what else is on here?
Yeah, do you want me to just read through this
Let's
first?
skip down, yeah.
Yeah, so, and that's new growth, so submit LA4 with LA13. By the 31st, we should be beginning work on recap. Conduct public disclosure period.
Which we want now, because we're in
All
term
right, so
year.
this needs to go
And
there.
actually, that was what I wanted to, well, it's in a reval year. So just.
Okay, for reval.
Added something like that said for reval.
All righty.
And someone brought that up, a guy from West Hampton. And I
Hmm.
thought about it after, and I wasn't sure if I finished my thought when I was talking to him, but yeah, that was part of why they were doing a public disclosure, I think. And that's why they sent him a thing showing its value.
Okay. Finalize valuations after informal appeal period.
Which is part of the public disclosure. So part of public disclosure is showing everyone, hey, this is where your values are going. And it was in the past when we did the revals every 3 years. That's why you did it, because that was when you're changing your values.
Mhm.
But now we change values every year. But they're talking about a reval year situation. And that's sort of what he was going through, this guy from West Hampton,
Mhm.
it was public disclosure. So we would put it on our website. We have something available at the counter here. We would put something at the library, and it's a senior center.
This is the owner's report.
So, yeah, basically an owner's report,
Okay.
and showing what the new value is going to be. So if this is sort of gives people the opportunity to see what their new value is, to decide right then and there whether they're going to start squawking or whether they'll
Right.
apply for an abatement. But it's a disclosure of the value and the changes that we're making, because usually in a reval year, you're making a larger adjustment to value. It's not as much of an impact now because we're adjusting every year the interim year adjustment.
And that owner's report with previous and current valuations.
We've been doing that, but I guess, yeah, it would be the same type of thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
show
we'll
current.
put that up on the website.
Yeah, and we're just doing that, or we have been the last couple of years. And we'll have it on the website, but it's not going to be any public disclosure period where it's 10 business days that it has to be on there before you can take the next step with the Department of Revenue.
Right,
And you have to show that you've been advertising, you show the article in the paper,
good.
the ad, or that it's been on the website,
Yeah.
and other things to back that up.
Okay, and then we need to figure out where to put that on the website,
Yes.
working with Matt. Should be pretty straightforward. Okay,
Obtain final value certification. Redundant system backup to CD.
that's an IT thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and smaller towns might
Might do
doing it manually.
it. Do we,
Fernando.
Fernando does a backup of our system?
Yeah, it's happening automatically every week.
Every week,
Okay.
okay?
All right, run value finalization processes. Prepare and submit new tax revenue growth forms, LA4, LA10, LA13, and LA13A.
Yeah, and that's all part of the classification process.
All right,
Obtain new growth certification.
okay. Is there anything we can do to support that?
No, well, you have been. You've been doing a tremendous amount to support that with your work with the spreadsheet. And so, yeah, we're crunching numbers, and I am in communication with Harold. We had problems with Patriot, and it was broken basically, and I didn't feel even I ended up starting from scratch, and we had made some adjustments to value according to what we saw. And I undid them and put it back because everything was so messed up, or I was just so paranoid that the data that I was working with was corrupt. So it was a little bit of a setback, but we got it straightened out, and it appears to be functioning correctly now. And we ran the numbers, shared them with Harold. We made another adjustment, and our numbers are looking really good residentially. I think we're pretty much done. But we've got a couple of tweaks to do on some other categories, apartments and commercial, and that really shouldn't take that long. I have an appointment with Harold later today, and we're going to be discussing that on the next move. So it's going to be troubleshooting a few different properties and sales and that type of thing. But we're getting close, and we'll be able to, get ready to start bringing it home and submit like I wanted to, well prior to the classification hearing, or when they're used to having it. So hopefully before the last week in October, we can have submitted like next week, and then get our approval prior to that. And then, whenever they want, I mean, the way this means to let them know, okay, we're good to go.
All right.
So we're working toward that.
You want to send me another data load and I'll run it through?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that could be the same one that I'm working on. I think I sent you that, or I don't know, because we were talking on the phone and you said, yeah, well, send me that. And I'm not sure if I ever did. So maybe I still owe you one.
Okay, I'll
get that
go back and check.
Because that'll be a good thing. Yeah, because I've got another, actually, yes, you have the date, that information when I put it back to square one. But since then, I made another move, and so I'll give you that data now.
Okay.
And I've already finished the manual calculation on it too.
Okay.
So see the comparison and hopefully again verify that things are spot on.
Good. Okay.
So just for the people listening, could one of you guys describe about the spreadsheet tool that you've developed to help with my understanding, iterative process of adjusting values prior to the classification hearing?
Yeah, we have a bunch of statistical analysis that we're doing, and it prior to now, or what we're trying to develop is a automated way to do this big breakdown. It takes me anywhere to 3 to 4 uninterrupted hours of just nonstop manipulation of data to get all of the assessment sales ratio statistics into a usable format, so we can see where things are going to go. And Jim has done a ton of work to automate that process, and it's it could just be really game changing to help out not only Greenfield but a lot of other communities. And so we're discussing what we'll be able to do with that, and how the best way to help people while still getting something out of it for the city of Greenfield.
Yeah, and to expand on that, there are really 2 spreadsheets. One spreadsheet is you just take the data and you just drop it in there, and it generates all the statistics automatically. And then there's a comparison spreadsheet where you take those statistics, load them into the comparison and it now becomes a comparison against some base data. So that when you make tweaks, you replace the base data and you look at the new data and you can see how things are moving. And when you're satisfied, that's that. So that's the report on that thing.
Kudos to both of you for doing this. Not only does automation save you valuable time, also makes it repeatable, less error prone.
Exactly, yeah, and so, you know, this process, sometimes you go through up to 20 times running this statistical information again and again and again. And so, yes, a big help for us, but it could potentially be a big help for our consultant.
For Harold.
Right, and so.
So you're looking to get some free Harold time at the return.
You know, maybe we could have some.
That sounds like a good
exchange of
plan.
services.
Yeah.
But I mean, really a great thing. So in the past, okay, that's going to take days and days. It's going to take weeks, you know, to change everything 20 times. Okay, it's 2.5 weeks to do all that. Well, conceivably, you'd be able to do it in one day, or at least go through maybe 10 different, you know, iterations of, okay, well, this is what I need to do. Let me take that. Because once you decide what you're going to do and you go through and make your adjustments, it takes a half an hour, 45 minutes. And then you go in and it takes 15 minutes to do it. And then to hit save and then to spit out some more data to check it again. So you could conceivably, instead of coming back again and again, sit there and just bang it out if you had one good uninterrupted day and make your adjustments and see where things go. And you know, be done that much sooner. So that was one of the things, or why I thought, you know, with you guys and I think I'm an advanced Excel user, but you make me look like a tiger, you know.
Jim does.
No.
It's Jim who's been doing all this. I'm not taking a bit of credit for
I've
it.
seen some of the stuff that you've done too. And so anyway, I know that Excel is such a great tool. I always say to people, if there's something you can't do, you just don't know how. And so, yeah, and in lieu of that, I asked for help and look what's coming out of it. It could be just a huge thing. As far as, you know, helping not only Greenfield, not only our consultant, but maybe it's something that we could provide to
The association to share.
Assessors Association, exactly, so that everyone could have access to it. But, you know, we'll see, and it's still in development, but we're getting very close and have promising results. And so, yeah, we'll be testing it again as we're going through. We're very close. And we also, so let me see, as far as that goes, any other things. I think I really said, yeah, apartments and commercial properties are the ones that we're looking at to tweak, but really residentially, we're right on the money with where we need to be. So hopefully we'll be ready to start talking with our DOR rep and submitting information in some of these different forms. So part of that has to do with new growth. And what are we waiting for to find out with bated breath about new growth for personal property? And as of the 11th, it was done. So I got some handouts.
Ooh.
I'm going to check with the guitar guy that is watching out for his being contacted.
For his what?
Uh,
I just couldn't hear you
Zach,
say
no.
trash can.
no, Zach has not heard anything.
Oh, my
Last time,
guitar.
yeah,
As a sample,
up once, yeah.
canary in the coal mine.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Nice.
This is a report of the taxable properties. It's in the total.
Oh, I love the DBA. That's wonderful. You can actually see what the
So
business
we'll let
actually
him
is.
know.
And then this is a list of all properties, including the ones that are exempt. For a total of 643 properties, I think it was. There's 643 accounts.
Yeah.
So we had 580. It narrowed it down to 520 after some of your work and removing certain places that said, okay, no, they're gone.
Yeah.
I don't know what the grand total is. So yeah, 259 accounts total as opposed to 171
Yeah.
that were taxable. I think that's what they're showing here in this summary report.
Also,
I'm sorry, so we got 11, almost $12 million in new growth out of this?
Yes,
Wow, that's
That-
all personal property?
that's the exciting
Wow.
how much did we need?
report.
Don't you need like $500,000?
Great.
Yeah, no, it's, I ran it quick, 11.5 is 234,000 in tax dollars. And so if it's, I don't know, what's the total? Let me see if I still have it up here. We can figure it out. Beautiful. So yeah, it costs 45 to do this.
And we got $250,000 out of it. That's what we wanted to see.
What's that total?
What's,
The new growth,
Yeah,
11,761, 480. And no, ZMUF is not on it.
yeah.
right.
Apparently, they did not get all of them
Probably,
anyway.
yeah, well, and we
Would
can
probably
talk to
be
them about
exempt.
that and do follow-up. Yeah, and I'm sure he would be exempt under the 10,000. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's almost 240, 239, 816 and 58 cents.
yeah, it's not as much as Jenny wanted. She wanted what,
And
350?
she we estimated 400, but this is just personal property.
Yeah,
And so we were behind because of different things. And we were like, okay, we got 200. And so now
oh, so now we have the 450.
we've got, well, maybe 450. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But this is just a huge boost and help. And, there's other ways to look at it too. You know what I mean? Because we left this on the table last year and the year before. And you know what I mean? How many years has these untaxed dollars been available? And so that's why, that's why I sent you guys out, because I was concerned. And then you confirmed what my worst fears.
Mm.
And so we did it. It wasn't popular, but look what it did for the city of Greenfield. And the big part of that too is it's not fair to the companies that aren't.
We're doing it.
That are paying personal property.
Absolutely.
And so we also have a quote for them for next year. So Harold reduced our contract because, which was just a very gracious thing that he did not have to do.
Yeah.
And another reason why I like and appreciate RRG. So they reduced it by about like 8,500. And so we've got a new quote for how much it would be. It's a little bit more for what it would be for fiscal 26, and we'll be talking about it later. But yeah, it's almost 14, and there's the quote for that. But I think that they're going to be more thorough. The services that they're quoting here are more thorough. And anyway, it's something that we'll have to be talking about when we're in our discussions of budget starting in January.
So for next year, they want 14 to do it?
That's what, yes, that's the.
I mean, that's great.
It's just maintaining.
Because that's an annual instead of
Right.
once and a forever. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Lovely.
it's better, so we're paying less than that. But, I think that it would be a better job done, and we're in better shape now. And especially using their software, that's another thing that we will be waiting, cloud-based software that we're going to be getting that has all this information in it. So they just finished on Friday. I was out, sent me emails saying, hey, we got this and that. Well, they were able to send me some reports quickly before the meeting. Fortunately, I was, happy to get them and be able to show you this. So
That's great.
yeah, it's great results and really good news budget wise that we're going to hit our number that the mayor was using, I think, and maybe a little bit more. So this is really
So it's really important that we don't have to cut city services.
Yeah, it's huge. So,
So the growth report really focuses on the assets that we did not capture.
right.
So, for example, one of the companies, the first one, is nearly $500,000 in growth.
Yeah. On which,
485, the growth report.
That's the Hampton Inn, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
yeah, okay. And so that's another thing is that the expertise of this outfit too is,
Knowing how to assess the.
yeah, I mean, one of the things that, personal property wise, and I've had this happen to me in other communities. These places will not accurately report. Or in some cases, I saw that all of a sudden this one place, it's a hotel, big hotel. All of their personal property, like lost $500,000, $600,000 worth of personal property. It's like, well, what are all your rooms empty now? You have no TVs, no beds, no, it's like, come on. And you got to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what places will do. Well, they get away with it for so long and then, okay, I'm not even worried about just whatever or the minimum. And, we're getting away with it, but it's up to us in this office to stay on top of it. And here's the results of what happens if you don't. And
Yeah.
it's too important to not pay attention to.
Well, what happens if this report was sorted in terms of growth or, growth in total value? Just, the reason being that if we see where we got most of the growth from, we can do two things. Number one, we can see what the incremental growth is the next time we do this. And number two, what it does is it may say, oh, we ought to be looking at this type of business or that type of business more closely.
And that's why I'm thinking that this new outfit is the way to go because they have that expertise. And I think that they're going to do a more thorough job.
One question, is this material, it's public or it's allowed to be public?
I'm assuming that it must be public information too, yes, but it's information I only just got.
Yeah, but
bringing here.
yeah, but once we're all
some results, but yeah,
once we're all good with it and everything,
yeah, I don't.
Is that something we can post on the website?
I don't see why not.
Because I'm just thinking tip line, right? If a resident like Mr. Geisman here is like, hey, I wonder if Zima Guitars is on there. Then he could just go to this thing online, especially if it was in spreadsheet form and or CSV, and be able to search it.
Residential properties, right?
Exactly, and but be able to
have it for personal property.
Well, we could just search it. They could search it by business name, like doing business as.
Well, yeah.
Say, hey, no Zima Guitar here, and then submit it to the tip line.
Yeah.
And then we could give that to RRC and be like, hey, you missed something. Do it next year.
Yeah. Or yeah, it's just our own discovery. We can do our own discovery and go there and do it ourselves.
Sure, but I mean, I love the idea of leveraging the public because and not just, random members of the public, but other business owners might
Well, it's not a bad idea to have awareness about personal property because that's part of this whole situation too. And then even though, hey, we're doing this now, we're having this big project, all of a sudden we're hearing, with the representative from the Greenfield Business Association comes over and wants to talk to us.
Yeah.
Because because it's information that they don't have,
Right.
And so, yeah, let's put that out there and
Yeah.
And even if no one from the public actually looks or gives us any tips, just the idea that a business owner could be exposed to that, like you said, perjury and whatnot. Just the fear that somebody might do it.
Or just the awareness that, hey, what is this? Oh, personal property for business. What's that? Oh, there's a frequently asked questions thing. Let me check that.
Yeah.
Because that was part of it too. I was contacted by several businesses that they had no idea what was going on and they'd never heard of personal property. And that's why we put the frequently asked questions on the website and that type of thing. It's just, it's part of, you know, being in business. And if you're in the state of Massachusetts, so, you know, it's good that we are now on top of it, and let's stay on top of it, and even do some awareness. Yeah, hey, you know, let's publicize. Hey, we did this. This is what happened. You know, maybe that's not a bad idea to have a little bit of a follow-up of a press release on this after, to say that, you know, you might have resisted, but here's the results, and we are viewing this as positive.
Sure. But just, could you guys, put this one on your list of things to post every year? And, just on the website, just so people can reference it. And, if random members of the public want to look things up and give us their opinions or ideas or complaints or whatever.
I think before you do that, let's verify that this.
Oh yeah, this is only a preliminary draft. I mean, when we have the final and we're comfortable that it's an appropriate public record.
Now we have a hopefully pretty accurate listing of the businesses in Greenfield.
Right.
And it's what we should be having and maintaining anyway, as far as the assessor's office.
And this.
We're not gonna get everyone, but we should be, you know, at 90 to 95%, as opposed to what we apparently were, about 60.
One other idea to consider, could we share this list with the clerk's office?
That's exactly where I was going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, cause then maybe they could do a little
In fact,
crackdown.
if they.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have the time, but I certainly.
Well,
that's their
understand
issue.
Where you're going. But yeah, if there's, how many of these places that we have don't have a business certificate, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if they couldn't generate a list of active business certificates, which we could cross against.
Yeah, I'll talk to Quinn about it, or mention it to her,
Yeah, I
And
mean,
then
preferably as an
Sure,
electronic
yeah.
file.
you know, and Kathy too, I guess, probably Kathy.
Do you have, will they be giving us electronic versions of these reports?
No, I have access to them, and I printed them out
Okay,
for here, but yeah, I can get a copy to you.
okay.
Or actually,
Once it's done.
yeah, well, and that's the whole thing. It only just, you know, just that.
Yeah, this is just a preliminary draft to give us a flavor for what's
Yeah.
going to be in the final.
I got to see. So,
Yeah. No, let's, all the stuff can happen once it's done.
yeah, and so anyway, very encouraged. It's justifying our actions, in my opinion.
Very much.
And it was just needed to be done, and feels better out for it. Well, in my opinion, so.
And it looks like what, 20% of 158 million in personal property value contributes to our growth.
Yeah,
And that's an interesting number right then and there.
yeah.
I mean, this
done
is the 80-20 rule at work.
Mhm.
That sort of thing. Anyhow, great stuff.
Yeah,
Worth every penny.
Yeah, lovely. It's nice to have some good news for one,
yeah,
you know?
Right.
yeah. I wish them the came.
Okay.
So anyhow, what else are we doing in the office? We're cultivating the knowledge of our new employee. It's coming along good.
Yeah, just a shout out. I mean, we have it later on the agenda, but I really appreciate your help with working on the individual exemptions. Thanks for the council. And also you were doing something associated with that for you too. Some other slides.
Yeah, I mean, it just had to do with the slides. We did the exemption write-up.
Yeah, the exemption write-up.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then I used that to plug in numbers in the slides.
Beautiful.
And those slides, even though it's not on the agenda, they're in the process of being updated. And I'll pass them around so that you can poke at them. And unlike this last time where there just wasn't enough time to pass it around, now there will be more or less. Okay.
Well, we're also, you know, we've got an elector's office, and we have a excise commitment that we are trying to get out, but we can't because no one has the correct permissions to take a certain step. So we're working on that.
Mm.
And hopefully I brought it up again Thursday.
At your staff meeting?
Yeah, well, no, not at staff meeting. What's your staff meeting Thursday?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just assumed if you were bringing it up to anyone, it'd be to Stella.
No, it's just to Stella and Catherine, who were down in the collector's office. Trying to pull stuff together, but I was trying to explain the importance of it, make sure that we're still rolling along with that.
It'd be good to collect taxes.
Yeah, right. So we've got to get that going. We're going along with the other things that we're seeing. So also excise wise, we're having veterans come in. So we had the new Heroes Act, and we sent a letter to everybody that was 100% disabled veteran, even non-homeowners. So we got a list from our veterans agent of the non-home owning 100% exempt veterans. Sent them a letter and an abatement application letting them know that they're eligible for an abatement, and those are trickling in now. We have chapter land applications that are coming in, and that's another part of what Jonathan is getting educated on, and doing pretty good from what I hear as far as the understanding of it and coming right along. So it's just going to be ATV cases. We have a couple of ATV cases that are on them. The two that we have, we're in the midst of negotiating with one. I got a 30-day extension, and I'm going to have to be preparing the information, our basically our discovery of what we're going to disclose at the hearing. At least a couple of them. There's another one. I've been contacting this woman and leaving messages, and she hasn't gotten back to me. And I'm hoping it's one that is going to be able to get settled. But we'll have other ones that are coming up. And I'm working with Harold, or trying to, and he's also, got a lot of those from other communities that are coming up right now. So we need to make sure that we're staying on top of and timely addressing those. And now that we're getting past the most important thing, which was getting everything done for classification and knowing where we're going to go with the numbers and everything. So we're getting to the point where, okay, we can start addressing those or give a lot more attention to them and put fiscal 24 to rest, looking at all potential liability.
Yeah. And both Devin and Jonathan have access to the system. Is that correct?
What system?
Patriot.
Yes.
Yes. So that means they could pull comparables by looking at comparable square footage. And, they could,
For the abatement stuff.
For the abatement stuff. What I'm thinking about is, that the calc ladder
Right.
numbers. If we can pull a report by any one of those numbers within a range, then we can manually sort through them and find.
And so Harold also, I don't know if you remember me talking about it, but he came up with it. He wouldn't call them comps. He wanted to call them similar properties. Right. And he had a whole strategy, because I think that that's a good thing to have and to be able to use on a regular basis, because we do have people looking for comps or similar properties, right. Or we should be able to produce that information, without too much trouble.
Yeah.
So if we have a process in place, so I'm all for that, or developing that a little bit more, okay, so that we can use it, in all aspects.
Yeah,
or just a regular.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or just talking to somebody,
I don't know what Harold's algorithm is for finding similar properties, but between what he does and what we've been talking about doing, I think we can come up with similar properties that are similar enough so that presumably we can justify our position in front of the ATB.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to them to ignore the data or to go with it. So, yeah. Okay.
And I've been trying to work with Devin too. We went out and did an inspection on a property, although it was kind of short-lived.
Yeah.
We didn't get in. But we'll probably be contacting you to come out and, that I thought that would be a good training exercise.
Yeah.
And there's other things too that I'm trying to give her or get more help from her on different things. And she just took an Excel class, for instance.
Hey,
We had a request from Amy about something, and then I was able to give it to Devin, who was able to not only run the report, but then convert it to a usable format for her and get that through. So
Great,
it's already paying off.
Baby steps.
Yeah.
Yes.
great.
But yeah, we're slowly taking steps toward the development of the new status of our office and figuring out how it's going to be with more staff and what we're going to be able to get done and other things that we're going to be trying to put in place. So one of the other things, just office wise, that we need to start concentrating on are the nonprofits and exempt properties. We're looking at 380Cs, and we do have a few that have come in that are new, and I want to make sure that we have identified them or properly statused the property if it is to be exempt, so that we don't have to have something hit the overlay. So there's all sorts of things we're working on here in the office, and big work in progress towards getting everything up to speed and the way it should be, you know, for the city of Greenfield, and then also, you know, maintain those processes going forward.
Okay,
that's lovely. Thanks for these meetings just get better and better.
okay, so we, RRG report, anything there?
They are continuing on with, I think that they're still processing stuff from the cyclical review. And David has been helping out in a couple different ways with growth, putting in some different sketches and stuff that got missed, like the library and the fire station didn't have a sketching yet. And, you know, got that done. And just other inspections, I've asked him to look at a couple different properties, and you know, some of the other ones that we have to actually, unfortunately, a couple of them are those commercial properties that really I need to talk to Harold about. And it's kind of what we're going to have to do is not beyond David, but it's beyond his responsibility level. And so you know, RRG is you know, doing what they're supposed to as far as working with me at this point to get everything ready for classification. And so, yeah, I have a meeting again with Harold today, and we'll be talking about bringing home everything that we need to and everything that we just talked about on the calendar as far as all our LA different things, LA 13, LA 5, LA 4, LA 3, and LA 15. Eventually. So, and then the recap is with everyone else and accounting and all of that. So that's all of those other things coming into place that are outside of this office. So we're doing our best to, again, meet our goal of being able to submit and submit well in advance so that, you know, we can help out these other offices, whatever capacity that we can, to get us to the finish line and get our tax rate for fiscal 20.
Yeah. But basically, there are the forms that are blessed by the DOR that involve information that we plug in and information from other departments, right?
Right.
The accounting.
Yeah, so we're in, as I interpret it, it sounds like we're in good shape for the numbers that we're responsible for.
Yes. Yeah, and that's what we've been working for since last month, September 15th, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at our 15th. This was really the deadline. I would have liked to have been able to submit, but we lost a lot of time with the challenges with the Patriot. And
Last week.
yeah. Considering that we're in pretty good shape and rolling along, and that we'll be able to get this stuff done and ready to submit and submitted. Like I said, maybe not this week, but by the end of next week, and looking for our approval.
Yeah. And, okay. Now on to valuation capture. We already covered that, I think. The anonymous tip line.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. It's concerning. I mean, it's been you know, when we first opened it up, you know, got a lot of tips from several people. But you know, without the press release, without the publication, and honestly, without the web interface and the, you know, having a method of storage other than you know, my Google Drive, it's just not working for us. I mean, as a practical matter, I'm sure you're not going to be able to work down, you guys aren't going to be able to work down those tips until, you know, probably the new year because classification, you know. So, but basically the process is not running right now. I mean, someone gives me a tip, I'll put it in there, but it's not happening right now.
Well, another part of the tip line was the couple of different approaches that we had in the list that we had to work. And I talked about it, but didn't send it to you guys to say that we kind of need to work that list to see what are explainable and what are ones we need to go and look at. And so that's another part of that process. And I know that you're working more, but still that's you know, something that's I sort of associate.
Are you talking about the permit list?
Yeah, the permit list and then also the price per square foot list. No, it's one I made.
Okay, but no, the tip line is neither of those things. The tip line is, it just has an address and a comment from somebody.
Yeah, okay.
It's just that. So you can't really sort it by anything.
But if you have the address, then, you know, you have the address of the permittee and stuff like that, so we could see what's permitted
Yeah, yeah.
and see whether it's questionable or not.
Yeah, I mean, right now I can't do that in an automated way because the addresses in the tip line
Well, that's
are
okay.
not, they're not reconciled with anything.
We can make them reconcilable, can't we?
It'd be a manual process.
Would it?
They're bad. But the real thing I'm saying on the tip line is it's just not a working process. I mean, you've probably looked at more than half of those things anyway. The permit sheet and your analysis of square foot, that's a different story. And I know you guys have already worked through those quite a bit. It's just the tip line is what I'm sad about, but I guess it's just in time. I mean, it's really a web thing. Once we get the web interface, we get a proper storage for that data and a press release, then it will become a real tool instead of just an idea that we started. And it was good that we started that. I mean, we've got, you know, 50 tips in there, but most of them came from one or two people.
Well, how about what I'm thinking about is how you cross these things. You
That's
know,
been the internal
permits.
problem. Well, the permits were easy because they had what's the name of it, the parcel number, the parcel ID.
Yeah.
So it's really easy when I combine the permit database and our property record database.
Yeah.
That was easy to do.
Okay.
And you know, I have that for fiscal 24, have the combination of the two, which we can do whatever with. And so that's like how I did that, you know, value as compared to the permit value. But the tip line is just a little.
So the tip line addresses are.
I'll show it to you. I mean, I'm co-host. I'll just bring it up again. You know, you guys.
What I was thinking about is, you know, I can put some cycles in on converting those addresses to be useful, and then we can go and get the.
So I think it's something that we just need to formalize a little bit more, like you're saying, and then have some type of rollout, official rollout.
Yep.
And then it's just going to be there. I mean, the building department has their own tip line too.
They do.
And so I'm sure that they see, you know, different surges in activity. And it's just, you know,
you know,
Hopefully it's not so rampant that it's not, something that we would have 10 entries a week. Or something like that.
So you can see this is still the same old stuff.
Yeah.
Like this one, Von Schmidt property. What's the address
Yeah,
of that?
But aside from that,
Next to Rigari.
yeah, I mean, you know,
Yeah,
the,
there were color codes and stuff on this too. We needed to work out. But,
yeah, but, you know, the addresses that we have, other than the formatting of the addresses, we ought to get the parcel numbers from that. And then the parcel number can be associated with a permit.
yeah, because we could add that in if you have, it'd be a little bit of manual work. But
So yeah, it looks like I got 70 entries.
Yeah, and, you know, in fairness, probably you have at least 50 addresses that are in clean enough shape to
Yeah, maybe.
look up
Uh-huh.
the parcel ID. And by the way, in the spreadsheets I'm working on, parcel ID, I think is the key.
Yeah,
You know, I mean,
that's the key. It's literally the key.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yes. And connecting databases.
That's primary key.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, that's,
So,
Council relations.
yeah, that's what Jonathan helped me with, because after the classification stuff, we discussed last time that like January, February would be the right time to talk to them about increasing the
right.
individual exemption stuff.
Yeah, to make sure that
Would
would
you-
you done prior to the start of fiscal 26.
Yeah, I could, would you like me to show that too?
If you can.
What Jonathan did? Yeah.
Sure.
It was lovely, I'll say. It's still only one slide. So. Okay.
Good.
So what we have here, now again, I limited this to ones that do not require a town vote, that can be done by council only.
Huh.
So 17, we can increase the whole estate maximum, so the cutoff on who can apply based on their whole estate, that they're below that amount. And we can also increase the actual exemption amount up to cost of living adjustment, like we have for some of the other ones. Right now, it's still whatever, $400 or $250 or whatever that thing is.
Is there a standard state COLA?
I believe, isn't that right, Randy, that all the cost of living adjustments come from DOR?
Yes,
Okay,
there's an IGR that's released every year.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, and we use it, we already use that for a bunch of these, so
okay.
that would be straightforward.
Okay.
The 18A, just reducing the interest rate. Veterans, reduce the residency from 2 years to 1 year. This is a weird one. Currently, the exemption's not allowed if they have put their home into a trust.
Mhm.
So we could allow that, because many people, use that kind of mechanism. Extend it to surviving parents, and then the exemption amount to cost of living. The senior deferral, as we talked last time, we could reduce the interest rate. And the limitation on who can apply, basically income limitation. We can increase that to the circuit breaker level, which seems to make sense. And then just the straight up 41C or D, depending how you look at it, just reducing the age, as you can qualify from 67 to 65. And what I understand from Jonathan, Randy, is that due to the very few of anybody who applies for any of these, making these relatively minor changes really will not have an effect on the overlay that's material.
Yeah, it's no significant.
So, I mean, the way I would like to sell this to Ways and Means is you can get a very significant political benefit In other words, this is what you were elected for, to help seniors stay in their homes, without really impacting the city budget. And it's morally the right thing to do. It's politically the right thing to do. And honestly, the only reason we haven't done this in the past is just because the office was too busy to consider stuff like this.
Yeah.
And if the office doesn't tee this kind of thing up for the council, how would they even know that these were options they had? I would suggest we do this as a package. So we work with appointments and ordinances to write this up as a single ordinance. And then just have Ways and Means and Appointments and Ordinance both recommend it and send it to the full council, and basically do it all as just business, regular business.
Well, wouldn't Ways and Means have at it first and then they cause
Appointments and ordinances? Yeah, sure.
to do it?
Yeah, I'm not that well versed in the process, but that makes sense to me too.
And, reducing the interest rate from 8 down to as low as 3, is there a specific recommendation there? I mean, other than to
I would
reduce
say make it as low as we can. And I believe 3 is the lowest you can make it. Just make it as low as we possibly can. I mean, only 1 or 2 people ever apply for these things. And to charge a usurious interest rate for that poor soul, just really seems like a past practice that has, what do they say, doesn't stand up to time, doesn't age well.
Yeah, but the interest, I don't know where the 8% came from, but my preference would be to peg it to something so that,
Sure, and we could change it every year. That would require a council vote every year. Because the state doesn't provide a mechanism to do like a cost of living on those interest rates, to my understanding.
yes. What I was thinking about was, I mean, the 30-year mortgage rate.
Yeah, sure. But because the state doesn't provide a mechanism, it would be every year we would have to tee up an ordinance for the
If there was
council
a
to
change.
adjust those. I'm sure it changes every year, or probably changes every day.
Yeah.
We can do it every
Okay.
year.
All right.
But yeah, so this is, I just think this is it's a thing we can do and we should do.
Yeah, I think, the deferrals are, we don't have a lot of people who are going after it because I don't think they know about it.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
I would like to publicize these more.
and also this comes back to, remember we were talking about preparing something for Kelly to put in her.
In the bills.
In the bills.
Yeah.
Well, especially the people that are in threat of losing their homes or going
Yeah.
into foreclosure.
Yeah.
So that would be a real cut down version of the exemption thing we did.
Yeah, that's what I'm for that, that exemption thing that you worked up. I think that would be beautiful to put in there. And again, Jonathan thank you for helping with that as well.
No problem.
But I think a shorter, almost like the version that it was in the slide deck, that are just easier to see in one page, and you don't have to read a lot of verbiage other than you say, maybe I qualify. And
Maybe
then
I
you
qualify.
inquire. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all we really need. Okay.
Lovely.
Okay. Educational outreach. We did the Zoom presentation. Thank you, Randy, for sitting through it, and Chuck, thank you also
Oh,
for
you-
doing the same.
Just, you did such an amazing job putting that together. And honestly, I'm feeling very uncomfortable about next year when even if you get reelected, will you still be the chairman? Because I really don't,
Presumably.
your shoes are like size 20. I don't think that I can.
Clown shoots. Thank you.
I mean, really, between the spreadsheet work you're doing and that whole workshop, putting together that whatever 50 slide workshop, it was fantastic. And the diagrams you did in there, I mean, I wanna, we probably don't want to spend the time, but I'd love to show everybody the diagrams you did. It really made it much easier
If
to
I die
understand.
and you find out about it, will you deliver my eulogy?
Absolutely.
Anyhow, the slide deck is, got used. There was some comment about how it could be improved, and I'm in the process of doing that in anticipation of our in-person session at GCC on the 23rd. We had 5 people, I think it was 4 or 5 people who were signed up for the Zoom version. And last time I looked, we have about the same number for the in-person version, which is kind of disappointing, but it's the first time through. And I don't see why the slides couldn't be used in other settings, maybe even on the website. But
Absolutely.
that's,
So we did talk about basically debriefing after.
yes, we did.
Want to bring up any of that stuff?
Yeah, I think the debrief I was looking for were comments from you all. And the comment from the one person that responded to my inquiry about, do you have any comments? They said a couple of things. I mean, first of all, don't be so defensive. So we won't spend much time on being defensive, but we'll spend more time on educating. There was a feeling that it was too harsh to say when people cheat, they're stealing money from other taxpayers. So we'll just reposition that as people that don't pay their fair share cause other people to have to pay more. And the property record card was a real hit with this one person. And I think for the in-person session, I'm going to ask all the attendees to pull their property record card so we can talk about it and have a discussion on that.
Yeah, and I think it was more than just that one person. It seemed like everyone in there was interested in about their property record card, and a couple of them pulled it up, or went and found it on their website.
That's right. That's right.
While we were talking, so that they could be educated. So that's, I think, some of the things that would be more appropriate.
Stunning.
Yeah, well, I stole.
Yeah, that's something I'd seen before too.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you made it up because it looked just like this one that Patriot put out years ago.
I don't know whether Patriot put it out. I saw it on some other assessor's website.
Yeah, it's probably from Patriot.
Yeah, it could be.
Because it's one I've seen. Yeah, and it's great, a little description of all the different things.
Yeah. And I think that definitely ought to go on the website alongside the geographic stuff where you can pull the
Absolutely.
property record card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah, because that's some of the other things that we were talking about were more advanced concepts, but there's really just the basics that people are looking for, or, you can't, if we have to, we can create another course, an advanced course, when you have further questions, or, you're really digging in and you want to, for an abatement or something like that, but just the initial information, it just seemed like the basics were revelations to a lot of the people. Yeah, that they just didn't understand how it all worked, and they have some good questions. And all of that should be incorporated, I think, into our new content, and we can remove some of the other stuff to maybe, like I said, have it in a part 2 or a next level course, because I think that's all good content too, and stuff that people need to know.
Yeah.
So there's nothing in your slide deck that doesn't need to be included, but yeah, I mean, even this is great information, but it's a little advanced. It's great to just touch on and show, okay, these are the different ways we're looking at things, breaking it down. And
They did have questions. People are like, how come my condo or my house is different than this other one? And this is just really great work.
Well, one of the things that I wondered about, first of all, I don't know whether any other assessor's office does this sort of public outreach.
yeah,
And what I'm
but Harold looked at it too, right?
yeah, he's seen it. But what I think might be an interesting idea is to pass this to MAAO as sort of not a core course, but it's something that if an assessor's office decides they want to do some public education, they have a ready-made deck that they can tweak to their own.
Yeah,
purposes.
because I'm sure that if we did that, then they'd want to rewrite it all or something.
Oh,
Well, and a lot of them don't use Patriot, they use Vision and whatnot.
Yeah.
But still, you show them what you did. And I think some of the other assessors are gonna be like, I could do that, and
Right, or yeah.
Inspire them.
Exactly, well put, inspire them to do other things, because that's what it is. It's really, and I was thinking the same thing as we were in the course. It's like, wow, this is great. Especially when we had people from other towns, it wasn't just someone from Greenfield, but it was someone from another town that saw this and was like, hey, I want to know this.
Yeah.
And so it is something that I think all assessors should do for a greater public outreach. And yeah, if there's any way that we could get the ball rolling or, I guess that would be up to me maybe to talk to someone in the association that's on the education committee.
yeah.
And so I do have people like that. So I'll talk to them and explain what we're doing and show them a little bit and talk to them about the response that we got and see what they think.
Yeah, let's go through another cycle of this. And I'm also wondering whether when tax bills go out, people, maybe that's the time to have another session.
Yeah.
Or at least to publicize, some of the information. You're getting your tax bill now. Here's some information about your tax bill that we have on our website. Check it out.
Right.
Something you didn't know. This is your actual tax bill, not your preliminary tax bill.
Yeah. Well, in any event, we have the basis of a deck, and I'll tweak it and send it around. One of the comments that was made, there was no information about abatements, or we didn't spend much time talking about abatements.
Yeah, well.
And well, it's getting added. So that's about it. Okay, shall we reopen public comment?
I will make a
Second.
motion to put an open public comment. Second, all in favor?
Okay. All
All
right,
right, is there anyone from the public that would like to make a comment at this time?
I would. Stephanie Duclos, 166 Chapman Street, Greenfield.
Thank
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
sure.
I'm so excited about the progress you guys have made. You guys are doing a great job. I'm really happy to hear about the new growth numbers and how we're going to be able to fund certain departments without that burden that we were all facing. I do have some more tips for you, but I will, not do those publicly. I'll put them on some sort of sheet. Also, great job, Jim. I am so for educating the public on all of this information because I just got my tax bill. I just got another $600 increase, which is, a little bite for me. But it to understand, how it all works, sometimes that will preempt any questions, ahead of time or any, yelling at you guys or, whatever happens in the assessing department when, everybody wants an abatement. But I wanted to say you guys are doing a great job. I'm really happy with all the work you guys are doing. So, yay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Steph.
Thank you.
That's really very encouraging.
Positive public comments are more appreciated than negative, but public comment is public comment. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Steph. Appreciate it.
Does anyone else want to make a public comment?
Ryan, how you doing? Well, I guess you're finding it hard to find the unmute button, but that's okay.
My hands are really sticky. I'm trimming my weeds, so.
Right on.
Okay. Good to see you, though.
I move we close public comment.
Okay.
I have a second.
Aye.
Favor?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And then we're going to go into executive session.
Yeah, are we okay with the next meeting dates? I guess that's it. You checked them over to make sure there aren't any conflicts and,
Yeah, we're fine.
okay, good.
It's not too bad.
So the
Okay,
the
executive
next
session.
meeting is Tuesday, October 29th.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I move we go into executive session.
I will second.
Okay,
All in favor?
yep, here we go. Okay,
Have a great day.
okay, you too, Steph. See you, Ryan.